Mario Galaxy 1 and Mario Galaxy 2 hit Nintendo Switch 1 and 2 today. I've been playing Mario Galaxy 2 all day on Switch 2. Is it worth it? So far, my thoughts, my impressions, $40 price tag, and the one thing that I think is kind of cringe, difficult, and not liking whatsoever. What's going on, everybody? I'll share that with you a little bit later on in the video. First off, Mario Galaxy 2 is a 15-year-old game, all right? It's based on Mario Galaxy 1, which is an 18-year-old game. And I think it's important to remember that going into this. Now, it's not something that really rears its head in too many negative ways, but it definitely does in a couple. And in one hand, it's really cool to see how far Nintendo has come in terms of just absolutely refining and perfecting their formula. I think if you play something like Mario Galaxy 2 today and then go straight into Donkey Kong Bonanza, you'll be like, wow, Nintendo has been great at this for a very long time. But thank goodness they got things even more perfect with their camera controls and with their ease of play. Now, I don't mean ease in terms of like easy to complete. I just mean easy on the eyes, easy on the hands, easy on the experience, because Mario Galaxy 2 is spinning me around. All right, Mario Galaxy 2 is all about spinning around these planets, but I'm finding the camera work to be antiquated. It feels like something that is of the past, even though we have confirmation that Nintendo has improved resolutions. Digital Foundry went in and zoomed in on Peach's eye, and we know that Peach's eye is looking more resolved here on the Switch 1 and 2. I'm playing on Switch 2, it's 60 frames per second, it looks fantastic. It is very much a palatable experience for the visuals, for the graphics, right? It's a great looking game. It's got great charm. It's got great aesthetic. It doesn't look like Mario Odyssey, but it's looking plenty good enough, and I think you can easily let that shift into the background as you play. Now, in terms of ideas and in terms of platforming, it's crispy, it's tight, and they're innovating in ways that, you know, you don't really have on the Switch. I mean, if you played Mario Odyssey, this is definitely a different Mario experience. In some ways, I'd say it harkens back to the old school Mario. Like, you know, people are always just clamoring for an old school Zelda, where it's a 3D Zelda that's just filled with dungeons. That's kind of how I feel about Mario Galaxy 2. Like, I'm playing a tried and true 3D Mario game. Like, Mario, the way he moves, the way he jumps, the way the levels are structured, it just feels more to me like Mario with platforming as the emphasis, and with the levels being a bit more like funneled, right? Obviously, they're way smaller than something that you'd see in Odyssey or Bowser's Fury. Of course, they do have plenty of creativity given the planets and given the crazy galaxies that you go to. And of course, Yoshi being there is a huge plus. But I would say from the way that it plays and feels, it even has almost more of like a childlike whimsy to it than I think Odyssey does or the modern Mario games. Like, it feels like it's just coming from an era of like bricks and blocks and Tinker Toys and Legos, and it makes me feel good, like something from my childhood. And it is something from my childhood, but even if you didn't experience it in your childhood, I think you'll get the sense of what I'm saying, that it feels like this older generation of Mario, which it is, but I'm just trying to give you guys a sense of how it's going to feel to play in 2025. Like, all that said, I do think it absolutely holds up. I think it absolutely is a super fun time, and I've been surprised by how many boss battles they are. I think that's something that Nintendo has really kind of sucked at lately in the Mario titles, is like the bosses are not very interesting. It's usually either the Koopa Kids multiple times, or it's some like kind of slight alteration of the Koopa Kids. Now, granted, the Bowser wedding boxing battle in Mario Odyssey is fantastic. The train fight at the end of 3D World is awesome, but fighting the Koopa Kids, fighting Spike, and fighting the bunnies in Mario Odyssey, I feel like they're a little bit overdone. I feel like they're a little bit played out, and I'd love to see Nintendo incorporate more of this ingenuity and this creativity with boss fights, where it's dragons and beetles and giant robots and all sorts of crazy creatures. Bowser's huge. Like, they do a nice job of giving you plenty of variety, and I think that's sort of this game's calling card, is extreme variety. All the levels are very different. All the galaxies have their own personality. There are some that are similar in using tile sets, right, of the same aesthetic, but for the most part, you're doing one thing in one level, one thing in the next level, and a totally different thing in that third level. It keeps things very diverse, and it keeps things very fresh. The replayability here is super high, given that there is going to be a ton of stars. You can play through the game a second time as Luigi, and I think for me, it's super safe to say if you're going to get one of these, I'd absolutely get Mario Galaxy 2. Galaxy 1 is, yes, the better story. Galaxy 1, yes, is where they originated the planet and the gravity ideas. But Galaxy 2 definitely takes them to another level, and it's kind of like the perfection of the formula, although that formula still includes something that bugs the crap out of me today. Not only is the camera a bit wonky and often locks itself, and you're running in circles, and sometimes you think you're going left, but then you're going right, because they were experimenting with planets and spherical surfaces, and I give them huge credit for making it work 97% of the time, but there's a couple of times where you're like, okay, I'm not going where I should be going. The camera feels like it is not doing what I want it to be doing, and I don't feel like today's Nintendo would let that happen. I'm not saying that they were worse back then, I just don't think they would even allow for a game idea where there's a potential for the camera to be even a bit cumbersome. But for me, it's not the camera that I'm complaining about here today. It is the motion controls, and boy oh boy do I not miss that era. I am glad as all heck that we got that out of our system way back with the Wii, and we have not yet really returned. Yeah, the Switch Joy-Cons do a little bit of waggle, and gyro aiming is something that has been implemented in games like Splatoon, but it's so much more of a nuisance here in Mario Galaxy 2. Look, when you're playing this game, you have to be using the motion to collect the star bits, to aim with Yoshi's tongue, to grab onto things as Mario, and it just feels weird. It's not something that we've interacted with a lot lately over the last 15 years since these games came out, and there's a reason for that. It's not a super intuitive, super clean experience. It does feel like you're kind of sometimes trying to rub your belly and pat your head. It's not that it's hard, it's just that it's awkward. I would not say that this game is more difficult because of the motion controls. I just say it's more awkward because of the motion controls. And my big sticking point here is the ways that I like to play Switch 2 do not work well with Mario Galaxy 2. And by that I mean the best way to play this game is with two split Joy-Con so that you can play as intended, because you had a Wiimote and a nunchuck back in the day. That's how Nintendo wanted you to play this game. That's the most comfortable way to play this game, and that's the best way to implement the motion controls and utilize the pointer and make it all work the least awkward way possible. Unfortunately, I love to play with the Pro Controller, so that means I'm tilting the Pro Controller as my gyro aimer, which is a bit awkward. Now, you can always press the R button to recenter your aim, which is hugely helpful and is something I do quite frequently, but still, like, tilting the controller all around is definitely not my favorite thing to do, especially if I'm trying to, like, move Mario one way, but I gotta tilt my controller the other way. It doesn't feel intuitive. It feels like it is a bit split, and that's why you're supposed to be playing with the split Joy-Con. Now, this becomes a huge issue for me when I'm playing handheld, which is how I hope to play Mario Galaxy 2 most of all. Like, can I still play the game? Absolutely. Did I still have a good time handheld? Yes, I did, but I find it to be very weird when you're having to turn and twist and gyro the entire system itself just to aim at something with Yoshi's tongue. So I'm moving with the stick, I'm trying to keep the screen centered so that I can actually see it, and then I have to tilt the console a completely different direction just so that I can aim over there and grab Yoshi's hot pepper or latch on to a different jump point. And this is a mechanic that I am glad has been left back in the 2010s. I might sound like an old grump. I'm not saying that it ruins the experience in any way. I still think Galaxy 2 is fantastic, and I'm here to, for better or worse, tell you that I feel like this game is worth it. Yes, it's an older title. Yes, you might have played it before, but I gotta say, I don't feel too terrible about paying $40 for Mario Galaxy 2. I got it separately. I didn't want to buy Galaxy 1 again because I have it on the 3D All-Stars collection. I got Galaxy 2 individually. I paid for it myself, and I don't feel like I got ripped off. Before playing the game, I kind of resented the price point, and I do wish Nintendo still charged less, but given how great of a Mario experience this is, and given how it's just like a near perfect platformer at a time where I'm really excited and waiting for the next Mario pure platformer, like the next 3D Mario, probably still at least a year and a half away. We don't know when that thing's coming, maybe holiday 2026, but like I said, that's still quite a ways off. And so this is your opportunity to experience 3D Mario in the newest way possible. You can't play Galaxy 2 on the Switch or the Switch 2 until today, so it's new in that sense. And for some players, newer Nintendo fans, it's going to be a brand new experience. For others, it'll be a nice retread, and for some like myself, it'll feel like the first time because it's been 15 freaking years and I haven't really played it much since. I love this game quite a bit. I just think you got to know, if you want to play it handheld, it is, in my opinion, cumbersome and trying. There is more motion than you might expect when first looking. There was definitely more motion than I expected when jumping into this title. Yoshi requires it quite often with his tongue. And yes, there's a lot of ways that you can use the Y button instead of the spin to convert the control mechanics to the current era. But there's some that you just can't. If you want to move around and collect star bits as you fly through the sky, if you want to latch on, there are some just pivotal features and things that are required of you in this game that are going to need that motion control action, and it feels pretty darn bad in handheld and not the greatest on Pro Controller. Joy-Con, it feels fine. I still don't love motion control. I still don't want Nintendo to bring motion control back in a major way. But for me, the handheld experience was definitely handicapped by the fact that I have to tilt the entire system. And it wasn't that it made it super hard, still beat the levels and collected the stars just fine. It's that it made it awkward. And I feel like Nintendo is at a point in the Switch and Switch 2 era where their games are just running like absolute melted butter, right? And that's a good thing. They just smoothly enter your brain, exit your fingertips, and you're able to play these things with flawless, thoughtless ease, and that makes for a great gameplay experience. And it's something here in Galaxy 2 that if you combine the camera controls with the gravity and spherical surfaces, and now this motion control action, especially in handheld mode where I wanted to play it most because it looks amazing and it's a great game just to play a star or two before you go to bed, it's not my ideal experience. So I totally recommend Mario Galaxy 2 at $40. If you only want to play it handheld, I gotta say, you gotta really think about it and look and tell me if you feel the motion is going to bug you, because it did bug me. Otherwise, I think this game is super good. There's no way you have Mario Galaxy 2 already in a collection on Switch, so it kind of feels like it is maybe not a must-buy, but a nearby game, a near must-buy, given the quality, given the charm, and given the sort of elusive nature of Galaxy 2 in any package up to this point. I'm glad I'm playing this in 2025, and it feels like a nice holdover until Nintendo's next big title. We'll see if I get into Pokemon Legends ZA. I'm feeling more and more positive, warmer and warmer on that game. The more that I see, that's out in 2 weeks. For now, though, I'm stuck in 2015 using motion controls and awkward cameras as I try to tilt my entire system to make Mario move it. What do you guys think of Mario Galaxy 2 in the comments down below? Are you going to pick it up? Have you already bought it? Are you willing to get just one, or do you have to get that physical version and have both for $70? And do you feel like the motion control looks kind of awkward and annoying like I described here, or am I crazy? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Until next time, stay safe, stealthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.